Song. A hard road to travel. Confidence for when things get tough. Patience. An adjustable attitude. Beauty. Excitement. Fun. Companionship. Health. Peace. Love. 10 important traveling companions to take with you on the journey to your dreams. 1. Confidence for when things get tough, when you're overwhelmed, when you think of giving up. 2. Patience with your own trials and temptations and with others. 3. An adjustable attitude, one that doesn't react, but responds with well thought out actions and feelings. 4. Beauty within yourself, in your surroundings, and in nature. 5. Excitement, new things to enjoy and learn and experience. 6. Fun, laughter and smiles any way you can get them. 7. Companionship, people to share your happiness and sorrows, your troubles and joys. 8. Health, mental, physical, and emotional. 9. Peace with others, yourself, and in your environment. And finally, 10. Love, pure, unconditional, and eternal. 2021 to 2030 is the International Decade of Healthy Aging, the International Decade of Ecosystem Restoration, the International Decade of Ocean Science for Sustainable Development, the Decade of Action for Road Safety, and the UN International Decade of Indigenous Languages. It's the 11th day of the first month of 2023, the International Year of Millets. And when we speak of millets, we're talking about cereals grown in warm countries and regions with poor soils, bearing a large crop of small seeds, which are chiefly used to make flour. More in a moment.
Class is in session. Power 106.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
2:15. Hose Assembly and Supply HAS is the best at what they do. They supply hoses,
Hi,
fittings, and
new
tools.
laptop.
They guarantee they are price and quality
No?
combined. Branded by you as the hose and tool boss with the most effective industrial solutions. Come, experience the joy of shopping with the hose boss. Call 876-923-3936 or visit them at 173 Hagley Park Road, 2 Charlesworth Crescent, or Montego Bay Trade Center. HAS would like to thank their customers for over 30 years.
In case of an earthquake and the place not shaking, drop, cover, and hold on. Drop, cover, and hold on. In case of an earthquake.
Case of an earthquake, you gotta stay calm. Move away from doors, windows, and things that can fall. Try not to use steps or elevators at all.
Learn how to protect yourself during an earthquake. Log on to weready.org. That's weready.org for more information.
Watch TVJSN or One Spot Media on Friday, January 20 to see the exciting culmination of the RJR Gleaner National Sportsman and Sportswoman of the Year Awards for 2022. Learn who will be Sportsman and Sportswoman of the Year and who will take home the Chairman's Award, the People's Choice Award, the Youth Award, and the Lifetime Achievement Award. Sponsored by VM Group, J. Rendezvous, Main Event Entertainment Group Limited, the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel, Pure Country, Free Your Image Consultancy, Television Jamaica, the Gleaner Company Media Limited, TVJ Sports Network, Radio Jamaica Limited, Hits 92 FM, Power 106 FM, RETV, Jamaica News Network, and One Spot Media.
2023 is also the International Year of Dialogue as a guarantee of peace. Here in Jamaica, the month of January is being observed as Earthquake Awareness Month. In fact, this week is Earthquake Awareness Week, and all things being well, we're scheduled to broadcast live from the Kingston and St. Andrew Municipal Corporation as we zone in on earthquake awareness this week. January is also Soup Month here in Jamaica. Meanwhile, in the United States, January is Human Trafficking Awareness Month and Mentorship Month. It's Causeway Constitution Day in Micronesia, Independence Manifesto in Morocco, National Unity Day in Nepal, and Canadians are celebrating Sir John A. Macdonald's birthday in Canada. It's International Thank You Day. Hoy es miércoles el 11 de enero 2023 y les saludamos en cualquier parte del mundo que nos están escuchando en este momento. Estamos muy agradecidos por el don de la vida y el privilegio de servirles en otra edición de su programa Both Sides of the Story, ambos lados de la historia. Nunca vamos a tomar su audiencia por sentado, porque sabemos que ustedes tienen otras opciones. Y esta es la razón por la cual jamás olvidamos darle las gracias por elegir both sides of the story, ambos lados de la historia, de lunes a viernes desde las 2 hasta las 5 de la tarde, aquí en Power 106 FM. La misión continúa para educar, capacitar, iluminar y estimular el espíritu empresarial. Bienvenidos. C'est mercredi le 11 janvier 2023 et nous vous saluons tous qui nous écoutez où que vous soyez dans le monde. Nous sommes reconnaissants du don de la vie ainsi que du privilège d'être à votre service par une nouvelle édition de votre programme Both Sides of the Story, le pour et le contre. Nous ne considérons pas votre fidélité comme l'un de soi parce que nous savons que vous avez l'embarras du choix. C'est pourquoi nous n'oublions jamais de vous remercier de choisir d'écouter Both Sides of the Story, le pour et le contre, du lundi au vendredi de 2h à 5h de l'après-midi sur notre antenne Power 106 FM. Nous continuons notre mission d'éduquer, d'habiliter, d'éclairer et d'encourager l'esprit d'entreprise. Bienvenue. All we're saying is it's Wednesday, the 11th of January, 2023, and we greet you well, wherever in the world you are listening to us right now. We remain eternally grateful for the gift of life and the privilege to serve you on yet another edition of your program, Both Sides of the Story. We don't ever take your listenership for granted because we know you have choices. And that's why we never ever forget to remember to say thanks for choosing to listen to Both Sides of the Story, Monday to Friday, 2 to 5, right here on Power 106 FM. The mission continues to educate, empower, enlighten, and encourage entrepreneurship. Welcome. Good afternoon to those of you listening to us on 106.1, 106.3, 106.5, 106.7, and 106.9. From Morant Point to Negril Point, from the Goat Islands to Galena Point. This is Power 106 FM, serving Jamaica and the diaspora. Hello to those tuned in via the Power 106 FM app, which you have downloaded from the App Store or the Google Play Store, depending on the nature of your device. Downloading is free. Listening is free whenever, wherever. We acknowledge those who have dialed a designated number to listen to Power 106 FM from the United States or the United Kingdom. Those in the US who wish to dial a number to listen to Power 106 FM can call 631-359-8281. 631-359-8281. If you're in the United Kingdom and you wish to dial a number to listen to Power 106 FM, your number is 0330-606-0953, 0330-606-0953. We're streaming live video on the Dervan Malcolm Facebook page and affiliated pages. If you're not there yet, log on to Facebook. In the search box atop the page, type DERVAN MALCOLM, and you too will be able to not just hear, but see what's happening in the studios of Power 106 FM. If you do not have a Facebook account, no sweat, there's always YouTube. All you need is a smartphone, a tablet computer, desktop, laptop, any one of those. Then you'll need internet connection. More importantly than internet connection is connectivity. One sure way to test for connectivity is to open a browser like Google Chrome, for example. And if you're able to browse successfully, you're up and ready to go. If not, you might have some niggling issues to take care of there. Good afternoon to those who have already joined us. Good afternoon to Donovan White. He says, yes, brother Dervan, good afternoon. The books are Take It Easy 1 and Take It Easy 2 about a doctor, his family, and patients on Amazon in Kindle, also posted on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Send us some more information. We'll be more than happy to feature those publications. Audrey Smith in Southampton says, afternoon, Dervan and listeners. Tuning in from Southampton. Welcome, Audrey Smith in Southampton in England. Good to have you on board. The Jamaican American Association of Central Florida is tuned in. Greetings again, Mr. Dervan and listeners from Florida. And Joan Edgehill, the president of the Jamaican American Association of Central Florida, representing well. Also messaging us, Nicola in Central Jamaica. Good afternoon to you. How are you? Good to have you on board both sides of the story here on Power 106 FM. Olga Hollingshead says, Wednesday afternoon, blessings, Sir Dervan Malcolm, and all your listening family and friends everywhere. Blessings to you too. And thank you, Olga Hollingshead. Ricardo is in Glengoff, St. Catherine. Good afternoon, Ricardo. Thank you very much for joining us here on both sides of the story, Power 106 FM. Donovan White is also on YouTube watching. This is right, Donovan White on YouTube. And Cole Godchild says, good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm. Blessing to you and the staff of Power 106. We thank you for coming on every day to highlight to highlight us about everything we need to know. We're happy to play our part. Cole Godchild. Chelsea Tingling says, thanks for that introductory song. You're welcome, Chelsea Tingling, and all those other listeners who have an appreciation for that particular recording. Good afternoon to you, and thank you very much for making it both sides of the story here on Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world, taking your calls on 876-922-4112 876-922-4112. And let's see a quick roundup of the news as reported via the jamaica-gleaner.com website. Let's quickly scan that feed. Republicans open long promised investigation into Biden family. House Republicans on Wednesday opened their long promised investigation into President Joe Biden and his family, wielding the power of their majority to demand information from the Treasury Department, and not just from the Treasury Department, but also there are some former Twitter executives. They lay the groundwork for public hearings. We'll see how that unfolds. In the meantime, let's tell you as well that also trending at this time, police investigate man's death in Red Ground, Westmoreland. The Negril police in Westmoreland have started an investigation into the shooting death of a man at his home in Red Ground district in the parish of Westmoreland on Tuesday. The deceased has been identified as 43-year-old Gerald Browner, unemployed, of Red Ground district. Naomi Osaka says she's pregnant and she plans to return to tennis in 2024. We wish her well. Baby abducted from home in Spanish Town is another of the stories trending on the Jamaica-Gleaner.com website. And the news is, and there's a picture of the baby, the infant, Roshane Malik Hall, who was abducted from Horizon Park in Spanish Town, St. Catherine, sometime after 5 p.m. The Spanish Town police are probing the abduction of a 3-month-old baby. The infant, Roshane Malik Hall, was abducted from Horizon Park in Spanish Town, St. Catherine, sometime after 5 in the afternoon. A woman had reportedly visited the home and was given the baby to hold. A Toyota Probox come to the house and the girl get the baby and drive away, a relative told the Gleaner. A report was made to the Spanish Town police last evening. That's most unfortunate, separating a child, an infant, from its mother. That can't be a good thing. That's terrible. We trust that that matter will be brought to an outcome in favor of mother and child. Also, the People's National Party weighing in on riot in Brazil capital. That's another of the stories and the information as reported by the Gleaner. Let's tell you more in a moment.
Media and vote for your favorite in the RJR Gleaner National Sportsman and Sportswoman of the Year Awards, People's Choice Performance of the Year Award. Vote from Fabian Allen's CPL catch for the Jamaica Tallawahs, Shelley and Fraser Price's World Championships 100-meter win, Nicholas Hamilton's won the goal in the Jamaica Premier League, Sharika Jackson's 200-meter World Championships win, the Reggae Girls' 4-0 win over Haiti. Vote by text or voice to 876-444-2473 or online at the RJR Gleaner Sports Foundation website or any of the websites of the RJR Gleaner Group. Sponsored by VM Group, J. Rand Bevue, Main Event Entertainment Group Limited, the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel, Pure Country, Free Your Image Consultancy, Television Jamaica, the Gleaner Company Media Limited, TVJ Sports Network, Radio Jamaica Limited, Hits 92 FM, Power 106 FM, RETV, Jamaica News Network, and One Spot Media.
Or 106 FM. The time is now
2:32 on Power 106.
January 11, Power 106 FM will bring you yet another segment of our Pearl Jubilee Archive series. Listen to both sides of the story with Dervan Malcolm at 3:30 p.m. when we'll revisit the program Life Wouldn't Be the Same Without the Sugarcane with Alan Rickards from May 16, 2007. It promises to be informative and enlightening. That's the Pearl Jubilee Archive series featuring Life Wouldn't Be the Same Without the Sugarcane with Alan Rickards. This Wednesday, January 11 at 3:30 p.m. during both sides of the story, right here on Power 106 FM. Dr. Jackie Campbell is on call Wednesday evenings at 8 with Powering Your Health. Join us this Wednesday, January 11. In Healthy Conversations with Dr. Jackie, we'll discuss how to correctly read a nutrition label, how to conquer failure, and learn about sudden death syndrome and much more. You're invited to call in with your health questions and concerns on 876-9224-11225. You can also send your WhatsApp or text messages to 876-279-8598. Brought to you by Benson Pharmacy and Wellington Dental. That's Powering Your Health this Wednesday, January 11 at 8 p.m. only on Power 106 FM.
Well, there is love.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. So, the story we were sharing earlier on before the break, the People's National Party has condemned the attacks by supporters of Brazil's former president Jair Bolsonaro on the Brazilian capital on January 8, likening it to the 2021 invasion of U.S. Capitol attack. The supporters of the former president stormed and vandalized the country's Congress, Supreme Court, and presidential office before security forces regained control of the Capitol. The PNP says it joins in the call for all perpetrators of this violence and anarchy to be brought to justice and commends President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva and the Brazilian security forces for restoring law and order in the capital. The PNP said the action of Bolsonaro's supporters is identical to the U.S. Capitol attacks in its goal of disrupting the rule of law and democracy. So that's another of the stories trending on the Gleaner's website, jamaica-gleaner.com, just in case you've been too busy to pay attention to the news. We're happy to be able to bring you up to speed as far as the Gleaner's reporting of the news is concerned. Another of the stories, Jamaicans reminded precious metals belong to the state. So first of all, it's not gold that you have found. And secondly, even if it was gold, you'd have to turn it over to the state. The story is on the heels of this week's dashed hopes of riches from what was believed to be the discovery of gold in Hanover. The Mines and Geology Division has stated that the Minerals Vesting Act confers the right to all minerals to the state. So even if we find gold in Jamaica, and it was in a scenario as has played out over the last few days in Hanover, you couldn't just walk away or run away with it. You could try, but the state would have a duty to seize those items, those in this instance, if it was really gold. So based on the Minerals Vesting Act, metals such as gold and silver or minerals containing copper, lead, and iron, precious stones, carbonaceous minerals such as coal, and some industrial minerals such as marble, high purity limestone, and silica sand. While the mineral found in Hanover was not gold, but pyrite, Pyrite, a substance of little economic value, members of the public are still being encouraged to report such discoveries to the Mines and Geology Division. And everybody has a smartphone these days. So just Google Mines and Geology Division, and you'll be able to find a contact number, and you can report whatever you wish to report to them. How about that? Good. Over to you then. Let's continue with more on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. In case you missed it, we started out this afternoon with a piece entitled 10 Important Traveling Companions to Take with You on the Journey to Your Dreams. And that's by Barbara Cage. 10 Important Traveling Companions to Take with You on the Journey to Your Dreams. And we paired that with A Hard Road to Travel by Jimmy Cliff. And we have more for you in just a moment here on your program. Both sides of the story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. Good afternoon to Sean Chambers, and hello to the listener on YouTube who goes by the moniker Shishi. Good afternoon, Shishi. Thank you very much for your message. And I should say as well, good afternoon to Earl Moxham. Thank you very much for my copy of Vantage Point Jamaica, a reporter's chronicle. And we're looking forward. We did get a sneak peek of sorts some time ago. Now we're looking forward to digesting Vantage Point Jamaica, a reporter's chronicle by Earl Moxham. And we're grateful to have received an autographed copy. And thank you very much, Mr. Moxham, and all the very best. And we see all the comments so far from the likes of Wesley Gibbings, Caribbean journalist and media trainer, Professor Rupert Lewis, that's Professor Emeritus, Winsome Hudson, former CEO, National Librarian, National Library of Jamaica, and others who have endorsed Earl Moxham's work. Well, we can't wait. We can't wait to dig right in and further enhance our knowledge and awareness of things Jamaican, issues Jamaican, regional, and even international. Thank you very much, Mr. Moxham, and all the very best. Good afternoon to Kanashia Russell. She says, good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm. Wishing you and yours a prosperous year. Thank you very much, and the same to you and yours, Kanashia Russell. Good afternoon to you. Thank you very much for joining us here. Let's go to the phone lines and read some of your WhatsApp messages. The numbers to call once again, whatever is on your mind, 876-36, well, let's go again, 876-922-4112-5, 876-922-4112-5. The text line is the same as the WhatsApp number, which means you can not only send us your text messages, your WhatsApp messages, your voice notes, but you can call us on WhatsApp as well. That number is 876-365-3346, 876-365-3346. Time for us now to clear these WhatsApp messages. So here's some information from the diaspora. This is from Leo Gilling, the chairman and convener of the Jamaica Diaspora Task Force Action Network. He says, I'm truly excited to announce that Mr. Wendell Codner has joined J.D. Tan as the new chair of the Agriculture Task Force. Wendell has completed 38 years of experience in the chemical industry, all with FMC Corporation. After graduating from the Jamaica School of Agriculture in 1976 and Tuskegee University in 1984, he joined FMC Corporation as a regional sales representative in the Agricultural Chemical Group. Since then, he has held numerous positions, including National Sales Manager for the Professional Solutions and North America Agricultural Division, Marketing Manager for Professional Solutions, and Business Manager for FMC Software Solutions in Phoenix, Arizona. Today, Wendell has P&L responsibility as Director of Consumer and Environmental Solutions. I think we need to get a copy of this book because his CV reads like a book. We just meant to tease this latest development, but then the information has kept on coming. No doubt we'll get an opportunity to interview him. So we look forward to that. In the meantime, let's clear perhaps one or two more messages before we go to the break. So let's go to this one from Lloyd Berry, aka King Lloyd. He says, "Hello, good afternoon, Mr. Dervan. Good afternoon to Jamaica and Jamaicans in Jamaica and around the globe. One love, and love stands strong always. Blessed New Year to all your listeners, Mr. Dervan. Check this clip out and please give us what you make out from it. Please, Mr. Dervan." Hey, Mr. Dervan, when I'm in Jamaica, the cops them don't let me drive in peace. If I'm in my truck with someone, they tell me to step out of my truck with my license and come to them. And then they ask me, what can I do for them? Why is that all the time, Mr. Dervan? They make me so sick all the time, every time. If it would be good if you could record these individuals, if you could get them on tape, that would help, and make a note of their numbers. Each of them has a number. So that's what we would suggest, King Lloyd. One moment, please.
Require that individuals and corporate entities be licensed by the Financial Services Commission. Individuals and entities that were providing a corporate or trust service before April 25, 2022 must therefore submit an application to the FSC for their corporate license on or before April 24, 2023. Relevant stakeholders are encouraged to apply now. Application forms may be obtained from the FSC's website at www.fscjamaica.org.
It's the most wonderful time of the year, and One Spot Media has a special gift for you and your family. Enjoy a 30% discount on our 6-month subscription plan and receive the gift of Jamaica's most authentic television and radio channel. Simply log into onespotmedia.com, select the 6-month subscription plan, and click subscribe. You may also download the One Spot Media app and watch on the go. Offer ends January 31, so don't hesitate. Subscribe now to discover the island's best.
This Wednesday, January 11, Power 106 FM will bring you yet another segment of our Pearl Jubilee Archive series. Listen to both sides of the story with Dervan Malcolm at 3:30 p.m. when we'll revisit the program Life Wouldn't Be the Same Without the Sugarcane with Alan Rickards from May 16, 2007. It promises to be informative and enlightening. That's the Pearl Jubilee Archive series featuring Life Wouldn't Be the Same Without the Sugarcane with Alan Rickards. This Wednesday, January 11 at 3:30 p.m. during both sides of the story, right here on Power 106 FM.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. So Lloyd Berry, aka King Lloyd, that's what we would suggest, that you take a note of the numbers that the police, when they stop you, the numbers that they're wearing. That's your way of identifying them if you have to report them. That's what we would humbly suggest. And here's another message. Hi, Malcolm. Peace be upon you. In Power 106 Historical Program Reflection promo, I hear no mention of Leng and Company. Power 106, after a 2-month break, came back on Sunday and disappeared instantaneously. Guardian Angel. That's a well-placed observation on your part, guardian angel with the fact that so far no mention of Leng and company. There's still time. There is still time, so we wouldn't write. Well, I don't have any control over that, but we wouldn't write that off just yet because there is still time. It's supposed to be a series of repeat programs over time. Over to you, guardian angel. And with respect to Power 106, after a 2-month break, came back on Sunday and disappeared instantaneously. We are going to forward your message right now to the transmission group, the WhatsApp group for the engineers for radio and TV within the RGR Gleaner Communications group. So we have forwarded your message, and we are now going to also forward your number in case they need to call you to find out exactly what is happening or not happening in your neck of the woods in terms of being able to listen to Power 106. And who is this now? Uh-huh. Let's go down the line. Again, just sifting through the multiple messages. Hello to Franklin McDonald. He says he has shared with us 2010 Haiti earthquake, magnitude, damage, map, and facts. And he says, FYI, since the anniversary falls in Earthquake Awareness Week, experts urge Jamaica to prepare for big quake. And this story was from 2013, wasn't it? And let's go up the line here. Ambassador Curtis Ward has shared an upcoming discussion on Twitter, recall and impeachment. This is put on by the Jamaica Accountability Meter portal. And you're being invited, we're all being invited to join the Twitter space on recall and impeachment to discuss impeachment and recall mechanisms for improving governance in Jamaica. It's scheduled for tomorrow, the 12th of January at 6 o'clock in the evening, and it will be by way of Twitter. The speakers, Marlene Malahoo Fort, Minister of Legal and Constitutional Affairs, Michael Phillips, MP for Manchester Northwestern, Donna Parchment Brown, former political ombudsperson, Jeanette Calder, Executive Director of JAMP, Ambassador Curtis Ward, Attorney at Law, is another of the presenters, and the moderator will be Archibald Gordon. So that is scheduled for Twitter tomorrow evening at 6 o'clock via Twitter. Over to you for those who are interested in being a part of that presentation. This one says, good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm. It seems the reception problem was on my end. It has been resolved. I am so happy I can listen to the station. Asante Sana. Thank you very much, Asante Sana, for getting back to us on that score. We have forwarded your message to the transmission team via the WhatsApp group. Oh boy, these messages are endless. This one says, Dervan, lastly today, this was late yesterday. This came in just before 5 o'clock yesterday afternoon, 4:51 to be precise. Dervan, lastly today, I want to make a suggestion to Ministers Chang and Favour Williams. The truth is, right now, Jamaica needs more than a crime plan. We need a mind plan. We need to change the minds of our people. They have become so evil towards one another. In our schools, we need to bring back something like the Peace and Love in School campaign we had once to get love back in the minds of our children, reverse some of what dancehall has embedded in us. Every school should have a peacemaking committee run by students. Uh, Run by students. Where did the message go? Uh, let's see. Every school should have a peacemaking committee run by students, headed by someone the school population looks up to. Peer leader, this person doesn't have to be head boy or head girl. In fact, it should be different. This person is responsible for intervening in all brawls and quelling all conflicts that are building up before they explode. This person is to keep the peace, making efforts going when the national campaign team is in another area. Importantly, Dervan, it must be funded by the ministry. Well, there is, I'm sure I was invited to a function at Calabar where they were celebrating, what was the title they use for them now? But these are not peer counselors, but, oh gosh, what was the term used? The term had something to do with almost like being peace. I think it's peace ambassadors. Peace ambassadors. So there is such a program. Uh, the extent to which it is widespread or confined is another matter. But there is such a program. And she says, good show today. Keep it the energy in looking at both sides of the story. She says, I agree with Neville. Some of these pastors are contributing to depression in our country. And this, I believe, is in reference to Neville's call, was it almost a week ago, uh, admonishing those who refer to others as sinners. So she says, I agree with Neville. Some of these pastors are contributing to depression in our country. We go to church and leave more depressed and down than before we enter the building. All is preached is hell, hell, sin, sin. The Bible says, those who believe in him will not perish, but have everlasting life. Sin will not take believers to hell. And her current message is a greeting, salutation. She says, good afternoon. So she's on board again for today. Cuban in Georgia says, wow, Sir Malcolm, I agree with that caller. The heart program I know is not the same from the 1980s. Dervan, the church cannot discriminate against anyone or calling people names. It is not right, and we must treat each other with respect and address everyone by their government name, says Cuban in Georgia. Spider says, good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm. The way how the government is using the Zozo to solve crime, it is not working. There is war going on in Payne Avenue, Delacree Lane to be precise. Stop fighting the bottom. 2 men lost their lives over the weekend, and there's a Zozo next door. So if the Zozo, and I'm reading it exactly how it's spelled, if the Zozo is not working there, where would it work? They need to walk the community and search for the guns instead of sitting down one place and can't or don't move. Thanks for your message, Spider. Donovan says, oh, we read this on Facebook already. Right, so over to you then, Donovan, whenever you're ready. Let's move up the line now. This one says, "Good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm. Wishing you all the best and healthy 2023. Can you find out from the NWA when will the road from Southborough to 100-man police station be repaired? And when will we get a stoplight at Bridgeport and Westport Boulevard or a four-way stop sign?"
Dr. Jackie Campbell is on call Wednesday evenings at 8 with Powering Your Health. Join us this Wednesday, January 11. In Healthy Conversations with Dr. Jackie, we'll discuss how to correctly read a nutrition label, how to conquer failure, and learn about sudden death syndrome and much more. You're invited to call in with your health questions and concerns on 876-9224-11225. You can also send your WhatsApp or text messages to 876-279-8598. Brought to you by Benson Pharmacy and Wellington Dental. That's Powering Your Health this Wednesday, January 11 at 8 p.m. only on Power 106 FM.
Both sides of the story.
The Kingston and St. Andrew Municipal Corporation, in association with the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management, will be observing Earthquake Awareness Week under the theme Drop, Cover, Hold, Earthquake Readiness Within Your Control. During this time, they aim to strengthen public responsiveness of Jamaica's children and youth to decrease their vulnerability to earthquakes. Join both sides of the story with Dervan Malcolm this Friday, January 13 from 2 to 5 p.m. from the Kingston and St. Andrew Municipal Corporation's main office at 24 Church Street, Kingston for highlights of Earthquake Awareness Week. This live broadcast is brought to you by the Kingston and St. Andrew Municipal Corporation in partnership with the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on both sides of the story, Power 106 FM. I'm Dervan Malcolm. Good afternoon to James in East London. He has dutifully sent us the usual collection of stories coming out of the United Kingdom. To go back to the story with the road situation in Portmore. So the message once again is, "Good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm. Wishing you all the best and healthy 2023. Can you find out from NWA when will the road from Southborough to 100-man be repaired? And when will we get a stoplight at Bridgeport and Westport Boulevard or a four-way stop sign? Bridgeport and Westport are hotspots. Many people have lost their lives there. That stretch of road is used as a racetrack with these drivers. These drivers have no idea that they're driving in a residential area." We have forwarded your message to Stephen Shaw on WhatsApp. We'll see if we get a reply. James in East London, as we said, is regaling us with the usual collection of stories out of the United Kingdom. The Boris Johnson faces calls for investigation as former PM is living in a £20 million property in central London on one of the country's most expensive streets. Boris Johnson is facing calls for an investigation into his living arrangements in order to establish if he is being honest about the rental value of the property he's staying in. Fake doctor paid over £1 million by NHS after forging her degree, court hears. Oh dear, that's fraud. Police who are legally barred from striking are resigning in their droves, putting Boris Johnson's 20,000 pledge of risk one in 5 police officers' plan to quit amid rising anger over pay. Boris Johnson joked to Downing Street staff that this is the most unsocially distanced party in the UK right now. At a leaving do held during the COVID pandemic, it has been claimed. ITV said the former Prime Minister made the remark at a boozy party in number 10, as in 10 Downing Street, while coronavirus restrictions were in place. British Transport Police officer sacked after cannabis plants and a half-smoked joint were discovered at her home. Met chief says stop and search can halve murder rate in London hotspots. King Charles III plots $50 million divorce deal for Prince Harry's return to UK. Really? Family of Brit who drowned in Jamaica trying to save lives want his bravery rewarded, or, well, they have awarded here. Let's see if we can get a little more on this story. Taking a while to load. So the story that has made the news in the UK, in the Mirror newspaper in the UK. Family of Brit who drowned in Jamaica trying to save lives want his bravery awarded, says the story. And that is another of the stories courtesy of James in East London. Let's go to the phone lines. 876 922 4112 to 5. Good afternoon. Thanks for calling. Did we lose that caller? Or good afternoon. I'm fine, thanks. And you? What's on your mind this afternoon? Well, you would perhaps you might want to share that suggestion with the works agency or the traffic police and see what comes out of that. Your position is quite clear. Thanks for sharing. You too. Bye bye. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Hello, good afternoon. Thanks for calling. He- yes. Mhm. Ah, I last time I had to apply for one of those was decades ago, maybe close to 30 years ago. So I don't know what the situation now is. I haven't had to get a police record over the last almost 30 years. So you haven't been able to go there physically? Yeah, but how do you end up getting the date in the first place? I wish I I knew what to tell you. Well, if there's uh well, keep listening. If we hear anything, we'll let you know. But personally speaking, um, no, I don't know. Hold one moment, please. One moment. Thanks for holding here on both sides of the story, Power 106 FM. Yes, sir. You were saying something else?
Is that I don't know, there's a problem as it relates to customer service in Jamaica. When you call, especially when you talk about the public sector, not so much the private sector. When you call the telephone, will be a post office, will be any government department in Jamaica. And they are so enthused and about getting higher pay. And now they're getting a bit of pay, or at least on board for them to get a bit of pay. I think the service should be up. You're calling people, it's calling, and nobody answering the phone. That's something how do you decision in Jamaica, especially when you work with government. Are you call anything, to get done as it relates to government department? They just not going to answer the phone. Why having the phone there?
Yes,
No one
unfortunately, that
answering.
has been a reality in too many instances. It's one of those issues that is ever present and perennial. It's people complain all the time, whether because phone lines are down or people are being discriminatory in terms of whether they should take a call or not, etc. I'm I'm not sure. It just boils down to the individuals who are neglecting their duties.
Yeah.
And how do you how do you design a system that will ensure that the people who you onboard, the people who you bring on board for these to man the telephone lines, the operators, etc., that these are people of quality and not just somebody who looking at work.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's the difference. And but then it just keeps coming back to the individual, what an individual does or fails to do at a particular point in time, no matter how well trained the individual is, no matter who the individual is. Because of human nature, we have a tendency to lose it every now and then, or in some instances more often than not. How do you guard against that? Well, maybe it's a case of ensuring that someone in a supervisory role is monitoring or supervising that particular core of individuals, etc. It requires a great level of accountability to keep people focused as opposed to fooling around in the office while the phones are going.
And then again, when you listen to the pensioners who are calling, I heard a man call recently, a pensioner, he's like he wants to cry.
Yeah.
Because he's calling for weeks. And
well, I hope it's Mr. Anderson you're referring to. We gather that he has finally received a call and his matter has been dealt with.
Well, you see, you something.
Yes.
Well, sir, thank you for your service, though, and I hope that somebody will listen and call you, and I will listen and see if I can find.
Yes, let's see who can tell us about the procedures for securing a criminal record document.
Yes, thank you.
All right, thanks for the call. Take care. Bye-bye. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Hello, good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Yes, Mr. Malcolm.
Good afternoon.
Yes, sir.
Before you go on, I should have checked, by the way, to see if you had been waiting longer than David Crossburn, who is so far doing 8 minutes and 5 seconds. Okay, so a couple before. Okay, so go ahead then. Sorry, go ahead then.
Yes, sir. I just want to thank you for mentioning the law that I think most people don't know of or didn't know about. The one that says precious metals found belongs to the government.
Yes.
Yeah, I doubt many people knew that. Question. So if I find some precious metals in my bush here, I get anything from it or no?
Well, assuming that is your property,
yeah,
that's you could possibly pursue it if the government was holding hard and fast. But I'm sorry, I'm not a lawyer, but
yes.
So I can't.
Yes, I'm just surprised that it would be a situation where they would get every single thing and the owner gets nothing. That, I think, is undemocratic.
Well, the owner would be compensated for whatever damage or other forms of impact that digging and whatever form of excavation would have caused to the property in its original form.
The mining, huh?
Yes.
Whatever the mining damage the mining did.
Right.
I see. But the very metal itself now, the riches, the true riches would belong to the
state. Yes.
Wow.
It's just like if you find oil. I mean, the people in Guyana, when they found oil, they couldn't just bottle it up and keep it for themselves and sell it. The state had to take charge of it.
Yes. The British Prime Minister, past Prime Minister, Boris.
The inimitable Boris Johnson, meaning cannot be imitated.
What is the problem that they have with him living in an expensive abode?
I don't know, but if it's the taxpayers who are paying for it, then naturally they would be concerned.
Okay.
But if it's...
But why would they be paying for it? He's no longer the Prime Minister.
It depends. It depends on the arrangement. It depends. It depends.
Oh,
But on the face of it, you would think he's no longer the PM, so he's on his own. So on the face of it, that should really be it. If there is something else in the mix, then maybe that is what is causing some anxiety.
yes, yes. That that caller that had that problem with not being able to reach the people on the phone that he wanted to reach, was that the tax office he wanted to call?
You mean the caller just now?
Yes.
No, I think the office he was referring to was the office where they do the criminal record documentation.
Oh, I see.
Right, because
So,
he's not sure about the procedure, and I'm not in a position to help him because the last time I had to go get one of those was, as I said, almost 30 years ago.
yes, yes. You know, if I had that problem, I would go to the library, the nearest library in my area, and go on the internet and see if I can find any information concerning that particular problem, because
But I think he said something that you'd have to go to the tax office first and pay for, depending on what you want. He was saying something about days, whether for 8 days, this number of days, that number of days. Sounded as if that was the basis on which you would go to the tax office to pay for a particular service.
You pay there first,
right?
And then you go to the records office.
Well, he's not sure where to go from there.
Yes, yes.
And that he has been calling, just trying to get somebody on the phone to find out, but without success.
Yes, I would definitely go to the place where I paid.
Yeah, but this is what I don't understand. They should be able to tell you if you go to the tax office. They should be able to tell you where you go from there. I tell people all the time, I have no problems being as blank as possible when I am dealing with these various businesses and public sector offices. I usually go blank just to tell them, look, this is your job, you know this thing, I don't. I'm coming to you, so I'm going to ask you all the questions I need to ask to find out from you, because this is your work.
Yeah.
So but some of us don't like to ask questions for whatever reason, because we don't want people to think we're not smart or something like that. But we must liberally ask questions. That's very important, so that we can be quite clear on what to do, when to do, how to do, where to do, why to do, etc.
Yes, sir. Yes, yes. All right. Thank you, Mr. Malcolm.
Thank you for the call. All the best. Take care. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. Good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Senor.
Good afternoon.
How are you?
I am fine, thanks. And you?
I am fine. I am TP, and I think that the time has come when your program must start. People must start telling you their name, like on the others.
Well, I usually don't insist, because I want to give people the freedom to choose whether to identify themselves or not, or whether they want to use a moniker, Moniker, or otherwise. So I usually don't insist, because there are those who call and they would rather not say their name or be identified other than by the sound of their voice.
Yeah, man, I just want to ask you. You used to work with Muttley. House with Muttley, and then after that you work with Leng.
No.
Because you was always the worker of that station.
Yes.
I remember when they used to do the morning show, you know.
Yes.
But I know. And why I think they should really bring on some of Ling and Corbin since they're bringing on everybody.
Mhm.
But I want to talk to you about an area.
Sorry,
That-
the audio we're getting from you is fluctuating.
Okay.
Mhm.
I want to talk to you about an area.
Mhm.
The jury. We're talking about jury in Jamaica.
Yes.
And since you are somebody that deal with the wider people in the diaspora,
Mhm.
you see when they have an important case in America, it can take all 2-3 weeks to select jury because they reject jury if you are a certain color, you know.
Yes.
And it's amazing that people down here don't want to be jury. And certain cases in America, you are not allowed to go home.
Yes, you're what they call sequestered.
Yeah, man.
Mhm.
And I think there's something we can copy from America. And what I just think that the jury should be given a reasonable typing because, you can't get a man $2,000 when a man sitting on a case.
Yes.
I don't think he should take a public transport going home.
Hold a moment, please. Sorry to have to pause here, but we have to take a break and we have the Power 106 30th anniversary special recording, which is scheduled right now. So if you don't mind, we'll break for half an hour just to play that feature and then come back at 4 o'clock.
Help us protect Jamaica's borders. Tell us about any illegal guns coming through customs controlled areas. Call Crime Stop at 311. The time by the Jamaica Customs Agency is
3:31 on Power 106.
Your health is key to your wealth.
I hear
Suffering
it's
from muscle,
packaged.
joint, neck, back, and other pain?
I think it's
The
packaged, isn't
Rehabilitation
it?
Institute of the Caribbean,
Yeah.
in association with Winchester MRI, Immune Active Denk, and Almighty Studios
Yeah.
present Rehabilitation Now, a 30-minute feature on physical medicine and rehabilitation for persons overcoming pain or dysfunction from injury or disease that affects muscles, tendons, nerves, and joints. Rehabilitation Now with rehabilitation physician Dr. Paula Dawson and host Alicia Taylor airs every Friday at 3:30 p.m. during both sides of the story with Dervan Malcolm on Power 106. Free your body from aches and pain with Rehabilitation Now, right here on Power 106 FM. Power 106 FM now brings you another segment of our Pearl Jubilee Archive series.
This is Life Wouldn't Be the Same Without the Sugar Cane, the program on which we inform the sugarcane industry on matters of concern and the general public about this vital sector. Today, we look at the crop, where it is reached, and I talk to Dr. Earl Roberts.
Life wouldn't be the same without the sugar. Life wouldn't be the same without the sugar. Life wouldn't be the same without the sugar. Life wouldn't be the same without the
Well, 157, 158 cropping days, and at 157, we had made 139,623 tons of 96 sugar, which is 6,000 tons ahead of where we were last year with 3 less cropping days. In actual fact, we are ahead of projections. From, for example, will have by now, as we speak, reached 50,000 tons, and they had originally projected 46. They are probably going to end up somewhere about 52.5. Appleton is well on its way towards its 27,000, 27.5 by now, almost 28, and looking at perhaps 31 conservatively. Money Musk is headed towards achieving the 16.8. They have, Money Musk have done 15,000 odd, well on the way to 15.5. St. Thomas, 9,500 or thereabouts. Worthy Park, 18,500 tons. The projections for the crop, not only will we probably, with the grace of God and weather permitting, make the 160,000 tons, but we're probably looking at exceeding it by, well, let's just keep that for a pleasant surprise. Long Pond, we're looking to you especially. You are just about achieving 8,000. And Long Pond, you need to give us 13,000. And my parish, St. Thomas, projected from you is about 15,000 tons. And you are looking at just about 10,000 tons achieving that. I know the cane is there. I know the effort is there. All concerned, weather permitting, I feel certain these figures will be achieved. So congratulations to all concerned and keep up the good work. Now the matter is, as of a board meeting at the Sugar Industrial Authority this week, it is clear that the programs announced by the minister will shortly be implemented. The I's are being dotted and the T's crossed. And in the next couple of days, within a week or so, you will hear announcements, both in terms of this medium and in your local factory areas through the harvesting committees, etc., as to the procedures for making application for both ratoon maintenance and for replanting loans. And just a hint, it's probably going to be, certainly in the case of replanting, the same route as the previous replanting program, that is through your factory committee or its equivalent, and through Sesagulary at Siri and on to the SIA. So just hang on a bit, and that will be implemented shortly. Also, there's a very important Sugar Association of the Caribbean meeting this Thursday and Friday. Extremely important in Barbados. It will be dealing, among other things, with the matter of the reallocation of the St. Kitts quota. A team will be going to that meeting, including myself and chairman of the SIA, and Carl James, who is also chairman of SAC, and Richard Harrison. And I can tell you we're going there to ensure that we get our share of that quota. More on that anon. In the meanwhile, there is something that we need to begin to consider. In fact, most of us are concerned already about it, but we are required now to bring more urgency to bear on the subject of environmental matters and the industry. In particular, the industry's obligation to work with some urgency towards a situation of improving both the way we harvest canes and in terms of some of our factory emissions to satisfy a convention, which we're going to discuss. The Vienna Convention.
No, there are two conventions.
Two conventions. Earl Roberts is here to discuss that with me, and any related matter. Earl, welcome.
Thank you, Adam. As you mentioned, the two conventions which we have to pay due attention to at the moment. The first, I think most people know about, that's the Kyoto Convention, which speaks to atmospheric emissions generally. And that is where what you mentioned about the emission from factories, from the...
that's Kyoto.
That's Kyoto. Okay. Because it speaks to atmospheric emissions and greenhouse gases generally.
Yes.
The one which is of perhaps special interest to the industry, though, is the Stockholm Convention.
And that is the harvesting.
Because that speaks to the whole question of burnt cane and that method of reaping and harvesting cane. The problem with burnt cane harvesting, apart from the obvious nuisances of smoke and particles, is the fact that the emissions which occur contain a group of compounds which are classified as POPs, persistent organic pollutants. Now, I don't want to scare anybody in the sense that the levels of these POPs is quite low.
Yes.
But as where there is a possibility of the health of people being compromised,
yes,
then clearly one has to take due note and try to minimize or eliminate that risk, as much as possible.
Yes.
And so the idea is that burnt cane harvesting should be phased out, and we should see what is really a return to green cane harvesting. Now, both have their advantages and their disadvantages, and we can talk a little bit.
First of all, what is the urgency? What kind of timelines are we looking at?
All right. As far as burnt cane harvesting is concerned, the Stockholm Convention, and I need to point out that the government of Jamaica is a signatory to these conventions, and therefore there is an obligation that we must adhere to these conventions.
Yes. So therefore we have no choice.
We have no choice.
Okay.
The Stockholm Convention, that comes into force, I think, by 2010, which is just 3 years away.
Yes.
The other convention governing the whole question of emission from factories, that is even closer, because by I think by next year we should start showing that we are implementing this. In fact, what is likely to happen is that factories are going to have to apply for licenses to be able to emit, the gases into the atmosphere. And depending on what is emitted, then unless it adheres to certain standards, then you may have to pay a fee.
Yes.
Because if you're emitting something which is potentially harmful to people in the surrounding areas, then something has to be done to mitigate the effect of these emissions.
Well, let's take a closer look at that briefly, because that is closest upon us.
Yeah.
What is it that factories will have to do? What are the standards that they will be required to meet to get a license in the first place?
Well, there are certain standards that emissions will have to adhere to. One, and I can't give you the actual numbers, but there are certain gases, for example, if you burn oil, then there are levels of gases like sulfur dioxide, what are referred to as the SOXs and the NOXs, the sulfur and nitrogen oxides, which are harmful, and therefore those have to be kept below a certain level. And clearly, there are ways of trying to minimize the effect of these. One can use scrubbers attached to your boilers, this sort of thing, to minimize the amount of these gases which have been emitted into the atmosphere. But one has to face it.
I seem to recall from another discussion we were involved in at a different place that if you're being fueled by a renewable fuel,
that's quite correct. If you're using a renewable fuel, then you are likely you're going to be exempt in the first instance
Yes.
from any penalties attached to the burning of these fuels. And the industry here is fortunate in that, for the most purpose, the furnaces are fueled by gas.
Yes.
And well, and this also perhaps provides an incentive for those factories which burn oil, that it is time they look at how they rearrange their operations.
The economics of buying oil should be incentive enough.
Exactly.
Somebody said in the course of this conversation that on the present standards required, only one factory could qualify for a license. It's not exactly accurate.
I think that may have been an exaggeration.
Yes.
But certainly, there are one or two factors which tend to use oil and to rely
more heavily.
Yeah, yes. And to rely very heavily on JPS and therefore on oil for their energy. Mm-hmm. And they will have to look at how to modify their operations.
Yes. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we want to look at another aspect of this, and then look at the Vienna Convention.
Stockholm. We could look in the first instance as, can cane which is harvested mechanically at the moment, can we start harvesting it green rather than burnt? Yes. There are going to be some difficulties with that.
Like what?
Well, for example, if a chap who is driving a driver who is driving a harvester down a line of cane, it's much easier to see where you're going if you have burnt off
This is nighttime.
Well, at nighttime, but even during the daytime as well, in terms of how you set your cutters, the distance above the ground, that sort of thing.
Yes.
So there are some difficulties, but they're not insurmountable. And therefore, what it means is there is going to be, if you like, a sort of initiation phase where these things have to be looked at.
So point one.
That's point one.
Is that the obvious place to begin implementation is with mechanical harvesting.
And in those areas where you can harvest mechanically, in other words, where your fields are fairly level, where they have been laid out to some extent with mechanical harvesting in mind, and therefore it should be possible to introduce mechanical harvesting without too much difficulty. Where difficulty is going to come is where you have cane planted on slightly sloping areas. And I would think what one would do is you concentrate your efforts in terms of, burnt cane harvesting in where you can do green cane harvesting, first. And as you get on top of the problem, you move into other areas. But where you can't mechanically harvest, what you may have to do is you may have to see how you can facilitate manual harvesting in those areas.
Well, for example, the largest registration of small farmers comes from the area attendant on Worthy Park.
They have the largest number of small farmers.
And those farmers, especially in the Kellett's Crawford Hill area, they do not burn.
They don't burn. They reap green. And therefore, the whole idea of green cane harvesting is nothing new to
them.
And therefore, what I think one would want to try and just improve there is when you're reaping those canes, making sure that you get rid of as much the trash and the vegetative matter, so that it comes in clean to the factory and that it comes in on time.
Well, you know that we're going to have one of the problems described to me and which we're familiar with is something needs to be done with the trash in the case of green harvested cane, because in some areas the access to the soil, fertilizer and stuff
again,
like that.
you see, this is where you weigh the advantages and the disadvantages. One of the advantages of green cane harvesting is that it can provide what people refer to as a trash blanket, which can retain moisture in those areas which tend to be dry and where rainfall tends to be sort of limited.
And weed
control. Now, on the other hand, in the sort of wet areas, this could be a disadvantage.
Quite so.
So it's a question of balancing out what you do and how you modify your practices to achieve the results that you want. I wouldn't for the first instance say that this is going to be easy.
It won't be.
It's going to be challenging.
But we need to start.
We need to start. And I think the first thing
some of that trash is biomass.
Of course. Yes. And therefore, in fact, in Cuba, what they would do is they have these baling machines which go into the fields, and you collect the trash and you take that into the factory.
And it has value.
And it has value. It becomes additional fuel.
So, but we need to start. And I know, let's not pretend, and nobody should think that we're saying it's simple.
It's not.
The equipment, the harvesters, as was pointed out to us, there have to be harvesters that deal
with green cane.
That's correct.
Rather than burnt cane. Because you see, when you're dealing with green cane, it means that you're taking up additional mass.
That would have burnt.
Yes. So it means, and this is where one has to be careful now, you also have to look at what effect is it likely to have on your factory operations, on your processing operations. Yes. You see, you have the advantage that you may be getting it coming in green and fresh. But if it is coming in with a lot of, extraneous matter in the form of leaves and things, then it means you're introducing a lot of coloring matter from your leaves into your juice. That has to be clarified, that has to be removed. And so you need to modify your clarification procedures a bit, see what is necessary.
And those blowers have to be effective.
And they have to be effective.
But, okay, so in terms of the mechanical harvesting side of it, a start has to be made to deal with the logistics, and it's going to be difficult.
Yeah, but one of the things that one should bear in mind, and that is where you are replanting at the moment.
Yes.
What you should do is you should start thinking about laying out your fields for mechanical harvesting.
Yes, yes.
So that, nobody's saying that you can go into this overnight, but with some amount of planning, you move into it incrementally. Yes. And, you
Well, I'm afraid, Appleton, you're going to have to be our guinea pig. So we have decided, haven't we, that we're going to begin to have discussions?
Yeah, I don't think it's telling tales out of school that the matter was discussed at a board meeting. One of the decisions that came out of that is that the various groups which are represented, across the industry, the manufacturers, cane farmers, the workers, the leaders will have to begin to initiate discussions as to how one should approach this problem of green cane harvesting, report to the board, and then we take it from there. Because what will have to happen is that people will have to meet, discuss, and then see what actions need to be taken.
What percentage of cane is harvested mechanically?
At the moment, I don't think, I would say probably 25-30%.
I doubt it's that much.
It may not be quite as much as that.
But if we could achieve by, say, 2010 or
2010.
So, all harvested cane, mechanically harvested, green harvested, then it would look like we're serious.
Then we will be serious. Yes. What it would mean, it is only those areas where mechanical harvesting is impossible at the moment because of the contouring of the land, that we could say leave those for a little bit later on. But I think the thing to do is to identify the problems that we have to face and start facing up to them.
Leave it a thought. Somebody said to me, somebody who is influential, think about this. Fair trading.
Well, fair trading.
Additional price from cane that is harvested environmentally friendly. We need to look at this possibility.
What you have to do is look at the premiums that you can get from the various things. Just as how you get a premium on good sugar.
Yes.
Perhaps you should be able to get a premium on good cane.
Need to look at it and talk about it. That's the program this week. Life wouldn't be the same without the sugar cane. This has been brought to you by the Sugar Industrial Authority in association with Jamaica Cane Product Sales Limited and the All Island Jamaica Cane Farmers Association. I'm Alan Rickles.
Life wouldn't be the same without the sugar. Life wouldn't be the same without the sugar. Life wouldn't be the same without the sugar.
You've just listened to another segment in Power 106 FM's Pearl Jubilee Archive Series.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
4 o'clock.
For 50 years, Under the Law has been helping you to know your rights and how the laws of Jamaica can help you defend those rights. The program is brought to you on Tuesdays by the Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries. Grow smart, eat smart. Under the Law at 6:45 and 8:55 a.m. and at 4 and at 9:55 p.m. on Power 106 FM.
You ever hear Earthquake call and say, "Hello, Miss Lee, yes, it's me, Earthquake, I come in Tuesday around 10? No, sir. Earthquake does arrive unannounced. And when it comes, it shake all sense and sensibility out of we. Remain calm, stay inside, and do the DCH. Drop, cover, hold on. Once the shaking starts, you know it's earthquake. Make a quick move to a safe place. Don't go to the door, we are in the exit. Stairs might block up or full of people. Elevator, avoid that, because you might get in and poof, power gone, and you're stuck in that box out here. Drop, cover, hold on.
A message from the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management.
Need water for agricultural purposes? Apply to the National Irrigation Commission for your irrigation services. Let's grow smart and eat smart with irrigated agriculture. Call National Irrigation Commission at 876-927-6727. Visit their website at www.nicjamaica.com or visit any of their office locations today. Irrigation, making the difference in agriculture.
Let your voice be heard. Watch TVJ, TVJSN, JNN, or One Spot Media and vote for your favorite in the RJR Gleaner National Sportsman and Sportswoman of the Year Awards, People's Choice Performance of the Year Award. Vote from Fabian Allen's CPL catch for the Jamaica Tallawahs, Shelley and Fraser Price's World Championships 100-meter win, Nicholas Hamilton's won the goal in the Jamaica Premier League, Sharika Jackson's 200-meter World Championships win, the Reggae Girls' 4-0 win over Haiti. Vote by text or voice to 876-444-2473 or online at the RJR Gleaner Sports Foundation website or any of the websites of the RJR Gleaner Group. Sponsored by VM Group, J. Rand Bevue, Main Event Entertainment Group Limited, the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel, Pure Country, Free Your Image Consultancy, Television Jamaica, the Gleaner Company Media Limited, TVJ Sports Network, Radio Jamaica Limited, Hits 92 FM, Power 106 FM, RETV, Jamaica News Network, and One Spot Media.
Thanks a lot. Que hora es en español? Son las 4:02 que la retiro en français. Il est 4:03. Time just changed from 2 past to 3 past the hour of 4 o'clock. 现在 TDN 了4点03分. 3 minutes past 4 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House, 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Have you had a checkup lately? If not, now is a good time. Let's not wait till we get sick to get a checkup. How about that? Checking in with more on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. You just heard a blast from the past as part of the Power 106 FM 30th anniversary celebrations. You heard a recording of Life Wouldn't Be the Same Without the Sugarcane with Alan Rickards and his guest. And that's a reminder of the series which you'll continue to hear. And Alan Rickards' guest was Dr. Earl Roberts, past president of the Jamaica Association of Sugar Technologists and past director of research at the Sugar Industry Research Institute, SIRI. Keep listening out for more replays from the archives as Power 106 FM continues to celebrate 30 years of service to Jamaica, the diaspora, and indeed the world. Good afternoon to those who have joined us since the last time we checked. Hello to Donovan Campbell. Good afternoon to you. Millicent Morris says, God blessings and love. Congrats. Donovan Campbell says, good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm, and listeners to you too. Karine Campbell says, good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm, viewers and listeners. Galloway Kevin says, good evening to you, Sir Dervan Malcolm, and watchers viewing. God bless you, my friend, Mr. Dervan Malcolm, and all saints in Jesus' name. Blessings to you too, Galloway Kevin. Daniel Blackwood says, good afternoon to you, Mr. Dervan Malcolm. Just checking in to your program, as usual, from Toronto, Canada. Thanks for checking in from T.O. Daniel Blackwood. Elton Gordon says, hi, Mr. Dervan. Happy New Year to you too, Elton Gordon. He says, I think your listener should go to CID office for his concern. I think he'll need a little more than that. I guess he could Google CID, but I'm that wouldn't be as precise as it would need to, so you're not searching forever. Let's see if we can get a more precise reference. But thanks anyway for trying, Elton Gordon. Cherry Henry says, good afternoon, Mr. Dervan and listeners. I still can't hear you on the radio. Well, maybe because you are listening to the recorded feature. Life wouldn't be the same without the sugarcane, Cherry Henry. Asha Ash says, hi, good afternoon, Mr. Dervan. Have a nice day. Same to you, Asha Ash in London. Natalie Winter says, great afternoon, everyone. To you too, Natalie Winter. Good to have you on board. Other messages pouring in. Pauline Baker says, good afternoon. Good afternoon, Pauline Baker. Jeannie Chambers, hello to you. Faye Weller, good afternoon to you as well. Thank you very much. Elroy says, good afternoon, Teach. Happy New Year to you and all your listeners. All the best for the rest of the year. Looking forward to another year in university for free. Keep up the good work, Teach. Thank you very much, and you do likewise. Sophia Nemard in St. Elizabeth, Newell, St. Elizabeth, good afternoon. Norman Hines, good afternoon to you as well. Nifusen, Nifusen, says, I'm listening to your show here in Australia, Victoria, every morning, local time. Love your show. Well, thank you very much, Nifusen, Nifusen. Hope we're getting that pronunciation right. I'm listening to your show here in Australia, Victoria, every morning, local time. Love your show. Thank you very much. Appreciate you. Thank you. Hubert Fowlin says, a very pleasant Wednesday afternoon to Mr. Dervan and his listening audience. To you too, Hubert Fowlin. Edna Gale says, good afternoon. Police record procedure. Text them after paying the fee at tax office. They will respond between 4 and 24 hours. They will send you a text with further info. So that's to the caller earlier on having issues and seeking clarification with respect to the police record document. Police record procedure, listen up, according to Edna Gale, text them after paying the fee at tax office. They will respond within 4 to 24 hours. They will send you a text with further info. And she says, text the police record office closest to you or ask the police station closest to you. They will respond, says Edna Gale. Thank you very much. David Crosburn has been holding for 55 minutes and 52 seconds. So we're going to take his call now. Mr. Crosburn, good afternoon. Thanks for your patience.
Yeah, good afternoon to you and your listeners. Indeed, a pleasure talking with you. That's precisely what I called you to talk about. The archive, the feature from the archives. But before I do that, at the introduction of your program, you mentioned that today is Thankfulness Day.
Yes,
and
thank
you.
you.
Said thankfulness is the parent of all virtue. So certainly I want to thank you for your wonderful program. And also, I'm happy to hear the voice of Mr. Records and Dr. Roberts.
Yes, likewise.
Yeah, Dr. Roberts has a lot on my upbringing, you know, and I'm really, to date, I have his notes still as some of my treasured documents. He did a tremendous amount of work in the sugar industry and at the UAA, and we're really thankful for him. So did Alan Records as well.
Good. Yes, indeed.
Yeah, I'm here in Guyana still, and listening to you.
It sounds like you have not only found oil, but you have also found gold in Guyana. I mean, they've always had.
I'll tell you more on that. But in Guyana, the oil is offshore, so the citizens wouldn't really be involved in it would be directly the government.
Yes.
But in Venezuela, the oil is like in. I had the opportunity to go to the province in Venezuela, Maracaibo, and citizens, you'd see the pipe running from the outside the lake. There's a Maracaibo lake, and there is the village around the lake. And the oil that's on the village, you'd see the pipeline running from their premises into the main line that takes it to the refinery in Maracaibo.
Oh.
Yes. Back to the sugar. Imagine, you can imagine when that program, when Alan did that program, we were producing 100,000 tons of sugar, more than we are doing just now. It's really a steep decline in a very short time.
Clearly. And chances are it will not get any better.
Well, part of my thinking is that we do not, as a country and as a people, realize that things goes on in cycles. And take for argument's sake, one of the two factories that is operating now has been operating since 1670. And
that's Appleton?
Come again?
Is that Appleton?
No, Worthy Park.
Worthy Park, yes, Worthy Park. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it has been operating since 1670. And the reason why they're in operation, they best understand the cyclical nature of the crop. I'd just like to share it with listeners quickly. If you Google David Cosburn, there's two interviews that I did. One with
Doreen Samuels?
Doreen Samuels, that interview. And I mentioned about the temperature, the increase in temperatures, and also the period when we had the introduction of the new calendar. That period is not understood fully, Bird Park understood that and recovered from that. Whatever is happening just now in the period of COVID over the last 3 years and business declined and so on and so forth, that was the impact the 80% year of 1751 had throughout the entire world that, well, the English-speaking world, because the Spanish-speaking world did already embrace the calendar.
Oh.
And it was Jamaica, as frequently pointed out, it was a sugar factory in Kingston, in St. Andrew rather, the Greenwich Sugar Factory, that they introduced steam into a manufacturing process, and that changed the whole business and productivity and so on. That one intervention or introduction of steam.
Yes.
Oftentimes when you even talk about
one moment please. One moment.
Yeah.
106 FM. The time is now
4:15.
For 50 years, Honor the Law has been helping you to know your rights and how the laws of Jamaica can help you defend those rights. The program is brought to you on Tuesdays by the Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries. Grow smart, eat smart. Under the Law at 6:45 and 8:55 a.m. and at 4 and at 9:55 p.m. on Power 106 FM.
Dr. Jackie Campbell is on call Wednesday evenings at 8 with Powering Your Health. Join us this Wednesday, January 11, in Healthy Conversations with Dr. Jackie. We'll discuss how to correctly read a nutrition label, how to conquer failure, and learn about sudden death syndrome and much more. You're invited to call in with your health questions and concerns on 876-9224-11225. You can also send your WhatsApp or text messages to 876-279-8598. Brought to you by Benson Pharmacy and Wellington Dental. That's powering your health this Wednesday, January 11 at 8 p.m. only on Power 106 FM.
Que hora es en español? Son las 4:16. Quelle heure est-il en français? Il est 4:16. 现在几点了？4点16分. 16 minutes past 4 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Have you done your homework yet? If not, now is a good time. Good afternoon to all the schoolers listening to us, all the students from the early childhood level to the secondary level. Trust you had a productive day of learning today. Hope you also managed to get in some physical activity, just as important as mental activity. As we always say, young people, socialization makes you educable. Education makes you trainable. Training makes you employable. And the right attitude makes you successful. Homework time, young people. Thanks for holding, Mr. Crosburn. Back with you.
Yeah, I'll just wrap up now, but quickly. I had the opportunity to go up the Essequibo River, about 60 miles up. And we stopped by about 5 different islands up the Essequibo. And there was an island, as you know, the Guyana was colonized by the Dutch for more than 100 years of Dutch colonization before they became English. And on one of the islands, there's you can Google it and look at it. I think the name of the island is Cow. There's a Cow Island and the Calf Island, K-O-W and C-A-L-F. There's a hotel there, penal institution. There's also a huge hotel and the home of one of the notable singers, Eddie Grant, live in that vicinity near the Cow Island. But there is a material there that I'm absolutely sure, could be quite beneficial to Jamaica. A red sand. The sand is red. The reddest of the red that you can think of. And it has some unique qualities.
I wonder how close that is to Bermuda. In Bermuda, what we saw was pink sand.
Okay, I don't know. But this one is red. And they mine it and do, like, they export it up into Asia for doing porcelain and other materials and so. But I'm sure that we should get an interest in it because of our silica that we have in St. Elizabeth, the silica sand that they use to make glass. Remember, we have a vast amount of silica sand in St. Elizabeth that used to be when our glass factory was in production. So we should be joining up with Guyana to look at these things, to produce all the glass bottles and so that is required for our region. For example, only today I heard about it some time ago that we are short of rum. Can you imagine when Jamaica, every corner of Jamaica had a distillery? We had up to 1,062 distilleries in Jamaica producing rum and other products. During World War I, our production, you can look at the graph, the production went up. World War II, the production increased during the war period. And yet now, through COVID, they said we are short of rum and so on. There's no reason for that.
And I think Trelawney alone at one time had about 100 sugar estates or something like that.
Most definitely. But you have to keep, I will finish now, but you have to keep in mind that Trelawney is a young parish now.
Mm-hmm.
Trelawney is quite new because the parish really is from St. James right down to about Richmond. That was St. James. And then they joined with St. Anne and created Trelawney.
Mm-hmm.
So, but they dominated the sugar industry in a significant way. All the very best, and keep on your wonderful work, and may God bless you, continue to bless you richly. And I just appeal to the people of Jamaica that we just need to go back to the basics and know that, I'll tell you this before I say what I want to say. About 16 years ago, I met a boss, one of my bosses. He was from Kenya. His name was Mr. Wabuke. And he said to me, Cosburn, I cannot understand how Jamaicans are destroying each other so much. And they are all connected. And when that message came home to me, I was so shocked that each and every one of us, we just need to talk. We are all connected to each other. And if you don't go to the same school, I heard Miss Mervis, one of your callers, was saying the same thing. We're all one, coming up and close to each other. There's no need. I mean, enough is in Jamaica. Enough is there. It's just for us to put our shoulders to the wheel and to know that we can build our country and make our country be the best country, be the magnet of the world.
Yes, indeed. It's about time.
Yeah, yes. Mm-hmm. So that's my wish and whatever contribution. Finally, I said finally. Mm-hmm. I must tell you briefly why I am here. I'm here because my youngest daughter, she is an institution here. And she's a graduate at UWI. She knows you well, interacted with you very well. And she went on the Spanish program to Venezuela, Colombia, etc. And even when they were our first job was when they were constructing the expanding the cement factory. Mm-hmm. She worked with the students, with the workers, set them up in the morning, talk to them. If you have any problems, don't go up there and say hi. And the culture was different with the contractors, And she very much impressed and inspired by your Spanish and your talk. And I'm thankful. I owe a depth of gratitude to you, And also tell the parents, work with your children. My first trip to the United States, believe me, I took home 3 suitcases of books. And from the day I took those 3 suitcases of books, and they have not 1 year in about 16 years have I been absent from the prize giving because they work with the books and work hard and know that is the books they're going to use and empower themselves.
Yes. Well put.
All the very best and be strong.
You too. Thank you so much for the call. Thank you. Take care. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com. To the phone lines once again. Hello, good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Hello.
Good afternoon.
I might be able to tell you just hello and good evening because me have work almost done.
Oh, Lord. Never mind,
keep
Miss
cutting
Mervis.
off and nothing, me can't get them for change.
Well,
You know, I just wanted to finish what I was saying yesterday
yes,
about the justice system, you know?
yes.
They were trying to get me involved in the what you call it, the what you call it, the what they say they can't find enough people for.
Jurors?
In the jury thing way down the road after I had 2 cases in court. And I told them no, I wouldn't. Because I didn't like some of the things I saw in court. One they're telling me about in Her Majesty's court will upset me very much. And the next thing is that I didn't like the way the judges react. Some of the judges react to people and the way they put it to stand up on your hand behind you. You just see this whole old time Bucky Master slavery thing, you know?
Yes.
I never like the setting and people shouting at you, people nervous and didn't say your hand and they were being told they have no manners and all kind of, you know what I mean? Kind of things in the court. I feel a lot of things in there need to be changed, you know? I don't see any reason why people cannot sit. Well, sometimes they make some people sit, but I see a lot of standing and so on, and I think a lot of those things need to be changed in the court system. We need to be conscious that our judges and our lawyers, they are our servants, so we respect them by saying, Madam, our sir. But this Your Honor thing and the way we see some lawyers bow to this and get on with some kind of something, we just think that is something just way out. So that's one of the reasons why I tell myself that I wouldn't get involved in them jury thing because I don't really like the courthouse setting, you know? And then everything the judge asks if you have a lawyer, even the simplest thing. I think people should be trained to defend themselves in simple cases, and I think the court system would go faster. One day I was in court, and the lawyer from the landlord was we in sentence we trying a case, and they stand down the case and I had to sit there and wait till him come from sentence bail, which I think was very upsetting, you know. So there are a number of things I saw in there that I think Mr. Chuck to them and want to change them, but him getting some pushback. And I think they need to standardize some things as well. You can't do certain crime and get a slap on the wrist, and somebody do a lesser crime and get how much years. I think there's some standardizations that are necessary in some cases. So on that premise, me tell them, so I think I don't want to become a jury. I may be a troublemaker. So, no? You see, I am called to change things, you know. That is my purpose, not me changing them. The Almighty give me the instruction them. And I show me exactly what's wrong. Because every now and then you see a lawyer have to stop and I whisper something to the client and whatever. I say, but then one of the judges got tell me, say, the court doesn't take hearsay. And one voice said to me, say, well, what is it they're using to try the case? Isn't it hearsay? Because neither the judge nor the lawyer was there. But based on that situation, how would you need a subpoena to the person? You know what I mean?
Yes.
To the person who gave me the information, but the judge just immediately tell me that the court doesn't take hearsay. So
Well, that has always been the case, though. One moment, please.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
4:30.
For 50 years, Under the Law has been helping you to know your rights and how the laws of Jamaica can help you defend those rights. The program is brought to you on Tuesdays by the Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries. Grow smart, eat smart. Under the Law at 6:45 and 8:55 a.m. and at 4 and at 9:55 p.m. on Power 106 FM.
Farmers, come for a candid conversation with the Minister of Agriculture and Fisheries, the Honorable Colonel Charles Jr. Learn more about the agricultural sector and the role we all play with its development. That's a Morning with the Minister, every second and fourth Friday of every month during Farm Talk with Alfie McKenzie, right here on Power 106 FM.
some road I roll.
Que ora es en espagnol, son las 4:30. Quelle heure est-il en français? Les 4:30. 现在几点了？4:30. Make that 5:29. 29 minutes now to 5 o'clock in the afternoon here at Broadcast House 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Do you know where your children are? Are they where they're supposed to be? Doing what they're supposed to be doing? It's a good time to check up on the children. A good time for us to continue with more on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Poro 106 FM. Thanks for holding, Miss Mervis.
Because what I did was to press the button like when you try to bring in a call. I tried to do that a while ago when you hear a beep on your phone that somebody else is calling. So I tried to press the button and press it back and you come back in. So I hope it will stay. Yes, back to some other things. I had this case, and when I went there, the judge was not in court. I heard the judge was somewhere else trying another case. I went up to the court office about 4 times to get some information. No information. I saw other people milling around to looking for the same judge. And then I asked a policeman to check the courts that were in session to find out if the case was there. They said no. I went back up to the court office and got very, very miserable. And the clerk come out and tell them to give me some information. They tell me I must go on home and the following day, and they would get in touch with me. Following day, one student from a program tell me say somebody was in court and say immediately after I left there, the case was called up. So I called them and asked them what is the position and tell me about signing the case. I say, you mean signing the case? Nobody was there to answer when I came up the court office 4 times. So you see what you call it, the Constitution. I wonder who is going to write the Constitution, and some of those things need to come out of the Constitution, and it's set up so that anybody can understand what the Constitution is saying. So all them sign that they are null prosecute and all them something, they need to come out of the Constitution. And it must be written not for the lawyers, but for the people. All that we recognize. They must write the Constitution in a simple language so that people understand it. So that is another concern for me. Coming out of those, the court from 2003 to 2009, I was there. And watching some things. You know, this lady that came there and that came to beat her son. The father brought the son there, them now mind the picnic them. I mean, expect the judge to give the woman some counseling. She remind the woman, so the boy took her $1,000, go squander it and she beat it. Yeah, I say in that case, you should have just send her to some counseling because she had 3-4 of them and none of the daddy then now mind them. And she look at domestic work, so $1,000 mean a lot to her. You see what I mean? Yes. So, I see some things in there that really upset me. So, I hope that the Constitution is not written for lawyers to interpret, but for the citizens to understand. And a simple matter, them supposed to can defend themselves in a court. And the court system would not be so jammed up. You see it? Mm-hmm. Sometimes the lawyer have one case upstairs and one downstairs and all them something else. And you know, Miss Malawi, remember Miss Malawi Fort was a part of Power 106 one time?
Yes.
A lot of people don't know she was a judge, you know. And one of the times she said, is the lawyers causing the system to be clogged up. So some of them that was taking her on in the Senate, a lot of people never know that was the reason. Yes, she said it when she was a judge.
I remember.
So you see, when I see them trying to harass her in the Senate, me saying, hey, that is the reason. But the truth, I went to the court and I see it. That some of them have too many cases. People said to me that they pay lawyers and the lawyer never go to court one day, you know, Dervan. Never turn up a court one day, you know. The next thing will concern me, if me give a lawyer my case and he claims him can't go any further with the case, What happened to the information I give to him? How safe is that? Me learn about something what the kingdom of heaven tell me about. Must be careful of and some information we must keep close to my chest. And watch them how far them push the case and pull out some of them. You see it? The word is collusion, Dervan.
Yes.
So collusion can take place if you're a little man and you go against a big shot person, you see? And I know lawyer tell me that, you know. And the kingdom tell me that because the matter was about the ministry of it's not anything because me didn't see myself I go to court. And the Almighty tell me 2000 I'll be going to court and we got to 2003 and it's a study the system, document my findings. So that's another thing, this collusion business. There's a whole political things, read the whole justice system, so I'm very concerned about the Constitution to be written. We must demand as citizens that the Constitution be written so that the ordinary citizen can understand everything in there. And not things so that just the lawyer them understand. And we must be taught how to defend ourselves in simple matters. And we want so much clogging up in the court. So that is my my contribution to the legal system. I mean, well want and change the Constitution, you know, Dervan. It look like we have to start right one if they won't start, you know, Dervan. The citizens have to start right it. So after all over the Constitution of we.
Yeah, well, you.
68% of people have voted up. So the citizens become, I know, the opposition leader.
Yeah, it's one of those inescapable truths when it comes on to politics and politicians. Once the politicians are involved, there's going to be some run justling, as my mother used to say, run justling.
That no make sense, Dervan. Is a disgusting disgrace, man. And the last thing I'm going to say in a minute, I am upset that the politicians and what they do about these people in England with this Windrush thing, Dervan. What I have been listening and nothing being said from the government in certain area. You ever see the picture of these people them called Windrush coming out by the ship?
Yes,
they one picture when we walk around with my bag and show people, you know.
No,
and them dress up in a jacket and tie and felt and look trash like nothing, you know.
Yeah, there are still some issues, but there is evidence in England, in the United Kingdom. There is evidence of the UK paying homage to the Windrush generation.
Some lip service.
There's the monument. There's the monument in the train station.
That are foolishness compared to what the people are suffer.
They have, well, they're at the highest level in the United Kingdom. Jamaicans are actually involved, have been involved, and are involved in the Jamaicans in the United Kingdom.
Yeah.
There are some very well placed Jamaicans in the United Kingdom who have been and are still involved in ensuring that the Windrush generation is never forgotten.
I know, but I am saying I don't hear enough noise coming from the government and us out here about it because yes, the remittance money them come out in Dervan. And 90% of my close relative of England, you know, none of them never go on the Windrush ship anyway. But them up there, whole heap of them up there. We hardly have anybody out here. And I don't like the way we are quiet about this Windrush thing out here. I think we should have been saying a lot more. And the politicians should have been saying a lot more, man.
Well, for what it's worth, I believe, what year are we in? This is 2023. I think next year, this year, isn't it? This year is the 75th anniversary of the Windrush generation. I think Windrush 75. So they're right now in the process of organizing, planning, and working on how they're going to keep the spirit of the Windrush generation alive and
I heard
well.
a man talk to you yesterday evening, you know, the English, the gentleman from England who always talk to you about the news. I heard what he said yesterday on your program.
James in East London.
Yes, them not going with nothing. Them only put some money in about the way they treat the people.
No, that is, which is what I'm saying. That obviously speaks to the level of disrespect that is still being meted out. But having said that, there are Jamaicans, well-placed Jamaicans, who are taking on these people and these matters, even as we speak. Well, it looks like you're going to have to lead that, Miss Mervis, because that's not happening. So you will have to lead that one.
Do it because I'm doing enough in a slavery and that wicked me. Me know history enough from me a teenager. Me study British history, you know. I mean know what them do to us as slave, you know. I mean know them 7-year war, you know, Dervan with them mash up them European place, you know. And it's hurting me to know that those people got that help rebuild Britain. And this is what it doled out to them. To help me long time. And I think that at this point in time, stop now. But at this point in time, there's a disgrace. And they must treat them better and repent of them wickedness. And give the people them and do something better for the people. They can't take with me puppy show 2 times. No, sir. Have a good evening and yes, Thanksgiving for Power 106. And my great station, one of my great station, you see? Most loved station. Because they treat me nice for a long time.
All right, Miss Mervis, thanks for the call. Take care. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world. Here's a call coming through from Florida. Hello, good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Yeah, good afternoon, Mr. Malcolm. Where you want to come in, but let's see so long I'll cut it short because time not going to allow me. Okay, earlier I mentioned about when you get in police record, you have to go to the tax office, pay your money, and then you text them. But you still have to know essential, right?
You were talking about police record again? That's what you're talking about?
I mean, like if you migrate, then you have to get your record and so on. Because
the police record?
I understand it's like, yeah. But after you pay the money at the tax office, where you pay, this stuff is essential.
No, there's a lady who responded to the question on YouTube. What's her name? Miss Edna, is it? I think it's Miss Edna. She was saying, I'm trying to bring up the message, but I think she was right. Where is it? All right, let's check Facebook Live if that's where it is. All right. So she said, police record procedure. Text them after paying the fee at tax office. So go to tax office, pay the fee, and then you text them after you have paid the fee at the tax office, and they will respond within 4 to 24 hours. Within 4 to 24 hours, and they will send you a text with further information.
Yeah, well, my question to you now, where you going to do that fingerprint?
I guess the text that you will receive will fill in those blanks, will tell you what else you need to do, because you could very well do it at a police station.
Oh, so that one your system like God, me I don't wonder why
Hold a moment, please. One moment.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
4:45.
Well, you heard the time. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. Good afternoon to all working Jamaicans tuned in to Both Sides of the Story here on Power 106 FM. It's a good time for us to ask ourselves, how productive have we been today? how productive have we been today? Well, speaking of productivity, there's a definition. We're going to try to make it a staple at this time, just before 5 o'clock, Monday to Friday. My favorite definition of productivity, it says productivity is above all a state of mind. It is an attitude that seeks the continuous improvement of what exists. It is a conviction that one can do better today than yesterday. And when I saw that part, I said, hold on a moment now. Looks like some people have been listening to our wrap up Monday to Friday just before 5 o'clock. Every day is an opportunity to do better than yesterday. But anyway, so it is. It's great minds, they say, think alike, and fools seldom differ. Anyway, productivity is above all a state of mind. It is an attitude that seeks the continuous improvement of what exists. It is a conviction that one can do better today than yesterday, and that tomorrow will be better than today. Furthermore, it requires constant efforts to adapt economic activities to ever-changing conditions and the application of new theories and methods. It is a firm belief in the progress of humanity. Productivity is a firm belief in the progress of humanity. Humanity's capacity and ability to do better, to be better, to get better. That's the definition, which I pulled from in the heights of COVID-19 when we were doing these, when I was hosting and moderating some of these online sessions. This was the one from the Productivity Center. And I grabbed this this leaflet, this sheet with the definition that I really love. In fact, I keep it over my desk, so I have to put this one back and print another one. So that's productivity. Let's get back to the phone lines. Thanks for your patience in holding.
Yeah, well, no problem. Anyhow, so you can go. So they will send to the station in the area where you live to do the fingerprint now.
No. Don't get ahead of yourself here. We don't have all the information. The information that we have received so far is what we have shared, which is pretty simple. It says, go to the tax office, and that would be the nearest tax office. Pay the fee for the police record document. Then send a text. Send a text to them, and their information would be on the receipt, or it would be on the receipt to give you an indication as to where you're going to, what number you're going to send the text to, or something to that effect. And then they will then respond to you after you send that text. They will respond between or within 4 to 24 hours. They will respond. They will send you a text with the additional information that you will need to proceed.
Okay. All right, next point.
Right, and I see she's also saying text the police record office closest to you, or ask the police station closest to you. They will respond. And this is for people who want more information, or who would like to be able to ask someone a question or two, as opposed to just going with what we have shared so far.
Okay. Okay. All right. If people would do event like promote, like put on shows and so on, what is the criteria to get a permit to put on an event?
Just provide the requisite information. It's very simple, actually. I had to act on behalf of a family member in that regard, and it was quite seamless, in and out in no time.
Yeah, but you have to go more than one place, right?
No, I went to one place, the Kingston and St. Andrew Municipal Corporation at 24, I think it's 24 Church Street.
So why they don't issue a promoter license? You pay for it, and the government issue it, and then you could go by the station area and then give permission to keep the event.
No, but you get documentation with the permission. It's not a verbal permission. You get documentation. There's paperwork.
Okay.
Not cumbersome paperwork. Straightforward, simple, easy to understand paperwork.
I would have to last one before time run out for me. Miss Mavis said them tell her that
Miss Mervis.
the court don't take. Yeah, I was listening to you now. She said them tell her they don't take hearsay in court. But the question I want to ask you now, when the police attack or the evidence against you attack, the judge not the judge I hear them.
And what?
So why them I say hearsay can't come? Because they're not the them have to hear what the person say and hear what you say now.
Yeah, but it's more than that. It's not as don't take it as simple as you have. It's much more than that. It's not just somebody saying that I saw or I did or I did not.
Yeah, but
You need more. There would have to be there would have to be more meat on the bone, because it cannot stand up in court. Now understand, hearsay cannot stand up in court. It might make it to court, but it will not survive beyond a certain point.
Just a minute. If me and you have a problem, I went up a court. The judge, the prosecutor, the police wasn't there. They have to take what you say and your word against my word.
It depends on evidence. That's what it is about. To prove beyond a reasonable doubt, especially if you're dealing with a criminal matter, you still have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt. It's the evidence that counts.
It still boil them to hearsay. If me can convince them with my argument, me may not be the winner. And if you can convince them, you're not the winner. So it still boil them to hearsay.
As we have always said on this program, justice is not about love. The system is not about love. It's not about hate. It's not about war. It's not about peace. It's not about trust. It's not about truth. It's not about honesty. It's not about integrity. It perhaps isn't even about justice. It's about proving beyond a reasonable doubt, in the case of the criminal law, proving beyond a reasonable doubt that someone is innocent or otherwise.
All right. If you put it this way, if you file a charge against me, say me slap you with something and there's no evidence, now you said I'm going to work with.
Dress up your language for us, please.
All right, sorry. All right, suppose I take a stick and hit you on your hand or something like that, and you make a report to the police and them arrest me and go to court. The point is, they give you a chance to make your point and give me a chance to make my point, and then they take it from there. So I don't want to say what I mean by yes, I don't work out.
All right, you sleep on that one for the time being.
All right, one last one. I think I hear Mr. Neville was telling you last week that to tell the Prime Minister to stop calling people criminal. Now, you reach out to the Prime Minister already with that?
The what?
Neville, I think I never caught him last week. He was telling you to tell the Prime Minister to stop calling people criminal.
Yeah, so that's a practice. We call everybody criminal, even if there's no evidence that the person is a criminal. We use it quite liberally here in Jamaica, which obviously shouldn't be.
No evidence.
Oh, by all means.
Yeah. Well, before going for Power 106, how long have they been in operation now?
30 years.
Oh, I remember I used to listen to Mr. Perkins and
Well, this year is now 31. This year would make it 31.
Yeah, and I used to hear Mr. Perkins' argument that a man is not a criminal until you hold him on a criminal charge and put him before the court and get him convicted.
Yeah.
So everybody just call people criminal. No serious repercussion for that.
No, you're usually referred to the accused. Use the term the accused. So the person who is accused, or the person who is the victim.
The law don't see him as a criminal. You know?
Yeah, but we've always known that. Those of us who pay attention to these things. So that's how it's been for a long time, forever.
So if a police arrest you then and label you as a criminal and go to the court and walk away, what happened from there?
I'm sorry. I closed the door a while ago and then you came back in. Say that again.
If a police officer arrests you on a criminal charge and put you before the court and you walk free, what happened from there?
You go about your business. Although there are those who might want to sue, depending on the nature of the case, you might want to sue for wrongful detention or imprisonment or whatever, or appeal or whatever. But if there is no further evidence, if there is no further impediment in terms of your freedom, you're free to go.
Oh, so this business of calling people criminal, they should cut it out until they get convicted.
Yeah.
All right, boss. Thank you very much.
All right. Take care.
Yeah.
This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. And I would imagine the same thing goes for anyone who is accused and where it is a court matter or a matter where there is some tribunal or some other body that is supposed to deal with those situations, then you would allow for what is called due process, and you apply if you follow public sentiment, you might very well end up rushing to judgment, as opposed to allowing the system to do what the system is programmed to do in terms of applying the tenets of the profession or the sector that you're in, whatever. It has to be in line, because what you don't want to do is to breach procedures and protocols out of expedience because there's an outcry in the country or some other overwhelming national concern, etc. You still have to follow due process. Otherwise, people can do anything. And then who wants to live in a country where you just do anything because there's an outcry? You just make a decision which further injures the individual, etc. You want to make sure you are following procedures, proper procedures. Can we thank you once again for the privilege of serving you on yet another edition of your program, Both Sides of the Story, for today, Wednesday, the 11th of January, 2023. The moving finger writes, and having writ, moves on. Nor all your piety nor wit shall lure it back to cancel half a line, nor all your tears wash out a word of it. All things being well, Both Sides of the Story returns tomorrow afternoon, 2 to 5. Till then, this is Dervan Malcolm reminding all of us that every day is an opportunity to do better than yesterday. Take care.
Somebody please.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
5 o'clock.
News, comprehensive, powerful, and credible.
Power 106 FM now presents a simulcast of Radio Jamaica's News at 5.
Good afternoon. I am Deidran Gordon. Coming up in the news segment of Beyond the Headlines today, Wednesday, January 11, 2023. Jamaicans for Justice echoes call for CEO of the CPFSA Rosalie Gage Gray to step down, while Public Services Commission probes allegations of failure to protect wards. Information Minister Robert Morgan pledges that all charities that engage with children's homes will be subjected to greater scrutiny. Opposition member on Joint Select Committee considering Bail Act recommending automatic sentencing discounts for time already served. Sangster International Airport most affected by grounding of U.S. flights following last night's breakdown of a flight alert system. U.S. says normalcy is returning. In business news, gas prices going down effective tomorrow, with some categories hitting their lowest since October 2021. The discussion segment of Beyond the Headlines with Earl Moxham comes up after this newscast. The news is brought to you by Flow. Stretch your dollar and get unlimited social media, YouTube, Spotify talk and text, plus data for TikTok. Switch to Flow today. Details of the news on Radio Jamaica 94 FM and online at radiojamaica94fm.com. Human rights group Jamaicans for Justice is calling for the Public Services Commission to act swiftly in suspending the CEO of the Child Protection and Family Services Agency, Rosalie Gage Gray, from her official duties pending the outcome of a comprehensive investigation. The group says while natural justice and due process are needed for a full investigation before permanent measures are taken, Ms. Gage Gray should not remain in the position while the probe is being conducted. JFJ contends that the circumstances detailed in the report are untenable and have eroded public trust amidst allegations of failure to protect wards of the state, alleged interference with investigations, along with the misrepresentation of facts. The call from the human rights group follows the tabling of the Office of the Children's Advocate's report into the questionable relationship between the Child Protection Agency and Embracing Orphans founder Carl Robansky. JFJ says no real accountability is being offered, and a further investigation is warranted to determine if any other child and former ward of the state, in addition to the three outlined in the report, were reportedly sexually engaged or possibly groomed by Robansky. The organization suggests a further investigation by relevant authorities to decide if there are any clear breaches of the Child Care and Protection Act that may warrant termination, criminal charges, or other appropriate sanctions of CPFSA officers beyond just the CEO. Meanwhile, acting prominent secretary in the Ministry of Education, Maureen Dwyer, says there has been no indication from Child Protection and Family Services Agency head Rosalie Gage Gray that she will be stepping aside to facilitate investigations. Following the tabling of the scathing Office of the Children's Advocate report, Youth Minister Fable Williams on Tuesday urged Gage Gray to step down while the Public Services Commission probes her leadership of the agency. The OCA report accused Mrs. Gage Gray of a gross breach of care for engaging Carl Robansky through the agency tasked with caring for and protecting children. The Minister of Information, Robert Morgan, says all charities that engage with children's homes will be subjected to greater scrutiny. Of the approximately 49 children's homes across the island, only 9 are operated by the government. In reference to the Office of the Children's Advocate's report into the CPFSA's relationship with Carl Robansky, Mr. Morgan said background checks will also be implemented.
Well, there are many good people who contribute to the home. There are many persons from overseas, persons in the diaspora, local persons, corporate companies who consistently try to help the home to survive. So it's not a case where we can say we will accept no outside help. What needs to happen and what we have been trying to do, Minister Favor, whatever, when I was there, is to, after the Robansky matter came to the fore in 2021, is to make the vetting for charities to engage with home more robust. And we're going going to have to put in background checks as well.
Minister Morgan says the CPFSA's management structure will be reviewed.
Well, the most the minister can do is to hold people accountable.